Warning, censorship. Warning, censorship. Warning, censorship.
Can you believe it? It's already December 14th. I can't believe it. Where did 2020 go? Well, we know where it went. About a month was devoured by the pandemic, but only about a month. The rest is being devoured by politicians exploiting the pandemic for opportunistic reasons. The mask is a flag. It's a symbol of your compliance and submission. I don't need to remind you that all the health experts in the spring said masks don't work. Now, I found that counterintuitive at the time. I thought, how could a mask not work? I mean, why not wear one? That's when we had no idea what was going on, and I guess you needed something. What can I do? Okay, I'll put a mask on, and maybe I feel like I'm doing something. It's like security theater at an airport. You do that, and you think, you go through, they grope you and touch you, and they x-ray you, and you take your shoes off, and they search through your stuff, and then make you throw out toothpaste tubes that are too big. And it's the public theater of it, the security theater of it that makes you feel better. We've learned from no one less than the World Health Organization, that lockdowns do not work and are not recommended. I see from my friends in the UK that they're just entering their third lockdown. I guess the second one didn't work and the first one didn't work, so they'll just try a third one or maybe a fourth one after that. Yeah, I was reading about how many millions of tests there are being done in the United States and Canada. And the price for these tests varies, but let's say it's $100 each. So the number of tests being done, you're getting 250,000 tests a day, let's say. What's the math on that? $25 million per day in tests. That's probably how many are being done in Canada. How many tests are being done in the United States? You want to Google that? How many COVID tests per day? I bet it's over 1 million in America. It's $100 million a day if my numbers are right. The mask industry. Do you think the pharmaceutical companies are loving this or hating this? Do you think they want a rapid end to this, or do you think they want this to be the new normal? Do you think all the public health officials who are stars, celebrities, people obey them, do you think they want that to continue or to be over? Do you think the politicians who have had never had less scrutiny, do you think they want this emergency to end, or do you think they love the permanent emergency? There's that phrase you used to hear in communist countries of the perpetual revolution, the permanent revolution. In Fidel Castro's Cuba, he's dead, but 80 million tests in the U.S. in total, and they're about $100 each, so that's 80 million, so that's $8 billion worth of tests, if my math is right. Give me it for the sake of argument that my math is right. 800 million tests, 80 million tests. 80 million tests total. And so times that by 100, 8 billion, 80 billion. $80 billion worth of tests alone, if they're $100 each. What site is this from? The CDC. So this is the Centers for Disease Control. And thank you for going to the authoritative source. 80 million tests reported. $10 each, that's $8 billion just for the testing industry. Then there's the mask industry. The not just the cloth masks, but the visors. There's all those plexiglass things you have at restaurants and shops now. And the real money, of course, is in the insane spending. So yeah, do you think this is going to end soon? Why would it end soon? Why, because you don't like it? Because you're out of a job? Because you're a small business that's hurting? Why do you think you have any say? Can you afford the fancy lobbyists like Walmart, Costco, Loblaws? No, you can't. You're not important. The government sector unions, they're important. You're not essential. You may be essential to yourself. You may be essential to your family. You may be essential to your community, your neighborhood, your block. But you're not essential to the politicians. In their mind, they're extremely essential. The media is extremely essential as long as it's obedient. The government sector unions are not only essential, they're having the time of their lives. This ain't a lockdown for them, it's a staycation. Oh, perfect timing. You got your Disney Plus, you got your Netflix, you got your, what are the other systems? I mean, YouTube, you got Crave, you got Amazon Prime. Am I missing any? There's so, you got all your sports. I mean, it's not a lot of new sports, but, and you can stay home and enjoy this staycation. What's not to love? That's how the ruling class sees the pandemic. I want to show you a video. I'm going to do my show on this tonight. I want to show you a video from Newmarket, which is in the Greater Toronto area. Is that technically the GTA? I think it is, isn't it? Yeah, so what's that, about 45 minutes out of the city, is that right? Let's just say it's part of the Greater Toronto area. It's been a while since I've been up there. So there's this mall there called Upper Canada Mall, whatever, it's just a mall. And I want to show you two videos. Let's start with the one from Six Buzz. Can we do that? So this is a video. I'm going to show you two videos, then I'm going to read a story to you, and then I'm going to unpack it a bit. So really, I'm giving you a sneak preview of my show tonight. I follow Six Buzz. I like it. I like the Jamaican slang, man diem, girl diem, I like it. I like the, makes me feel a lot hipper than I am. And they're fairly politically neutral. I like that about them. That's rare. And they're fun and they're quick. And occasionally they even have rebel stuff on there. Six Buzz. It's just an Instagram account, a Twitter account. The 6 refers to the 416. It's one of Toronto's nicknames. So I'm on Six Buzz, as I often am. They love Drake. They're crazy about Drake. I've had my full of Drake. I might do a diss track later on. But I'm kidding. I have no beef with them. I just, after a certain while, there's a little bit of Drake fatigue that sets in. So I was on Six Buzz, as I often am, and I see this video. So this is by the passerby, Justin, that one. So this is in the mall in Newmarket, Ontario. Take a look and take a listen.
Get the fuck off me! Get the fuck off me!
No,
Get the fuck off me!
don't!
Get the fuck off me! Get off me!
Get off him!
Get the fuck off
This
me!
is a racist
Get
fucking
off me!
bullshit!
Get the fuck off me! Get off me, bro!
Get off him!
Get off me!
Good!
Get off me!
What?
Get the fuck off me, bro!
He's in this military, you guys are so stupid!
Get the fuck
You
off me,
guys are
bro!
actually retarded!
Get the fuck off me!
This is a fucking joke!
Pussies! Get the fuck off me, bro! Get the fuck off me, bro! Get the fuck off me! Get the fuck off of me! Get the fuck off of me!
No! This is so illegal! Move back! Move back what? Oh! You guys, this is ridiculous!
God, please, don't do that!
No! No! You guys are on the wrong! You guys are on the wrong! They bust his face open there!
Bro, he's not good.
So a little bit of excitement there. Now, the way that Six Buzz described that is a fella was tackled for not wearing a mask. So that's the first thing I saw. Let me just say a few things. So this was introduced to me and the world as a guy not wearing a mask in a mall. So my first reaction was, oh, good. For his health and safety, let's tackle him and smash him to the ground. Because that's healthy. Can I point out a few things? He was not fighting with them, was he? He was just saying, get the F off me, get the F off me, right? He must have said that 10 times. You didn't see him smash anyone, you didn't see him punch anyone, you didn't see him throw them off of him. Maybe he couldn't, but you didn't see any of that, did you? Because it didn't happen. He swore. Forgive a fella for swearing. You saw a bunch of security. Several of them, I think, were in blue-gray shirts. And then you had the guy in the yellow jacket who walked towards the camera at the end. I note that he himself did not have his mask on. Did you notice that? The guy in the yellow jacket who walked towards the camera. And then near the end there, police, with the word police on them, did actually attend. And then that's when the security guards did, in fact, get off him. Yeah, so here's the guy in the yellow. You'll notice he does not have a mask on his face. We'll watch that guy again as he walks out. So just give it a second. I'm making a point here. So that guy's got a mask, but that guy does not have a mask. See that? No mask. And you see there were some real police there. So I erroneously tweeted on the weekend that the police stomped him. The police did not. The private security did. So that's all I knew at first. And my reaction was, wow, guy doesn't wear a mask. They stomped him. Then I heard, well, maybe he was belligerent. And I thought, well, maybe. And then York Region, there's a local newspaper there, I forget what it's called. Do you have that newspaper? It's just called yorkregion.com. Yeah, there it is. Thanks very much. Scroll down a tiny bit. Video. Man says racial profiling preceded altercation with guards at Newmarket's Upper Canada Mall. Mall says man was belligerent and police say charges against him warranted. A Pickering man tackled by security guards at Upper Canada Mall is facing charges in an incident where he says he was racially profiled. 100% I feel I was racially profiled, Joshua Walker, who is black, said the afternoon of December 11th, moments after he was charged by York Regional Police. But Mall spokesperson Adrian Simich said Walker had been belligerent leading up to the altercation with security guards, and York Regional Police Constable Laura Nicole said a review of all video taken indicates the charges are warranted. Walker has been charged under the criminal code with assault. Really? I thought he was assaulted. With intent to resist arrest. Really? Didn't see that. And under the Trespass to Property Act with engage in prohibited activity on premises, Nicole said. Oh, okay. Well, let's watch the video because they've got it embedded here. Let's take a look at this video. Can you pump that up to the side? Okay.
Yo, you got the three fucking stooges here. Curly, there's Curly.
Maybe click the word
Curly.
YouTube and then
Larry.
viewer. Yeah. So now, yeah.
Larry, I'm fucking Mo over there.
Make it full screen if you like, and just pause it right away when you got full screen. Is it? Yeah. So pause it there. So you can see the man in question on the left, and what do you notice about him? He has a mask on. Do you see that? So rewind it and let's play it from the beginning. This is a
Yo, you got the
clip.
three fucking stooges here. Curly, there's Curly. I'm fucking Curly. Larry, I'm fucking Mo over there. Don't put your hands on me, bro. Don't put your hands on me. Don't put your hands on me. Don't put your hands on me. Let's go.
You're under arrest for trespass.
No. Don't put your hands on me, bro. What the fuck are you doing, bro?
Stop!
Put your hands on me.
Hey! Hey! You cannot put your hands on him!
What are you doing, bro?
Stop! What are you talking about? We're leaving!
You're not leaving.
Yes, we are. Our exit's right straight. Through those doors like I told you. Are you kidding me? Our exit's right there. Our exit's right there.
Get the fuck off me.
You cannot do that. Hello? Our exit is right there.
Get the fuck off me.
Are you good?
Get the fuck off me.
Stop resisting, man.
Okay, but you didn't have to put your hands on him.
Put his hands on us.
No, he did not. I have it all on recording, you dumb shit. No, he was not. We were leaving.
No, you weren't.
Our exit's right there.
You're stopping.
How are we stopping? We're here.
Back. Get back.
Holy shit, I'm pregnant. This is crazy.
Get the fuck off me, bro. Get off me.
Holy shit.
Get off.
Did she say she was pregnant? Did I hear that in the end? So, let me tell you what you saw there. I mean, you saw it for yourself, but let me highlight a few things in case they escaped your focus. As I pointed out right at the beginning, he was wearing a mask. In fact, he was wearing it over his nose. And you saw, briefly, his girlfriend, apparently pregnant with his child. She was wearing a mask too. So these were not anti-maskers, so to speak. They were being frog-marched out of the mall, and they were walking at a reasonable pace. They weren't running, but they weren't dawdling either. He's making fun of them. He's calling them Larry, Curly, and Moe. That's a reference to the Three Stooges. All right, is that polite? Not particularly, but it's not really mean. Of all the insults you could make, that's a pretty gentle insult. He used the word F, the F word again. You know, I'm sure those security guards have heard that word before. They're not minor children of tender years. So he was walking out of the mall with his wife, the girlfriend, and he was taking a selfie video, and he was calling them Larry, Curly, and Moe. But was he not walking out at a reasonable walking pace? He was indeed. And so this video ends where the first video we saw begins. And this guy was saying, don't put your hands on me. Don't put your hands on me. He said it 3 times. But he didn't stop walking. At least that's what the video shows. And then you hear one of the security say, "You're under arrest." Really? Do security guards have the power to arrest people? Well, no greater power than you and I do. You and I do have some power to arrest people. It's called a citizen's arrest. It's a more truncated and limited and restricted power than a police officer does. For example, a security guard can arrest someone that they actually observe shoplifting. But there's a lot of conditions. You have to observe the shoplifting happening. It has to actually be shoplifted. If they just put it in their jacket pocket while they go to a cashier, hasn't been shoplifted yet. A lot of rules on that. It's tough being a security guard, but there are a lot of rules. You have to be licensed. You have to follow the rules. It is the power of a security guard to eject someone from a mall for any reason or no reason. Put up the York Region report. I want to tell you what the reason was, because they seem to have it. The incident began on December 9th around 4:30 p.m. Walker, a corporal in the Queen's Own Rifles Reserves Regiment, and his girlfriend, Samantha Johnson, were eating at the food court at the mall. They said they were approached by a security guard who said removing their masks and eating in the food court was not permitted under COVID-19 restrictions. I'm not sure how you're going to eat if you don't remove your mask. Both Walker and Johnson feel they were targeted. Walker's black. I'm going to disagree. I think they were targeted because they were eating in the food court. While they said they collected their food, cleaned up their garbage, and left, they said a white man in wheelchair nearby gave the security guard attitude. Okay, I don't know the relevance of that. Walker and Johnson were told to leave the mall, and 3 security guards accompanied them from behind. We saw that. Johnson said the guards allowed them to walk through the mall rather than having to leave through the closest exit after she told them she is 18 weeks pregnant. All right. As they are, they're so gentle over there. They're so generous. As they are walking on the first floor of the mall toward an exit, Walker is recording the incident on his phone. We saw that, laughing and making fun of the security guards by calling them the three effing stooges here. That's true. I hope the poor muffins are okay. I hope they're okay from being called the three stooges. You guys okay? Maybe we should start a crowdfund for them. Moments later, I love this passive language. There is an altercation with the guards. When Walker repeatedly saying, "Don't put your hands on me," there is an altercation. That's like the phrase, "mistakes were made." An altercation. What does that mean? Did Walker punch anybody? No, I don't think he did. We saw from two angles. In fact, we sort of know what's going on because Walker was repeatedly saying, "Don't put your hands on me." Pretty sure that means someone was putting their hands on him. A guard tells him he's under arrest for trespassing, and security guards tackle him to the ground. After Walker drops his phone, Johnson continues recording. We know all that. According to Simic, a security guard initially approached the two eating against COVID-19 restrictions in the food court. While one group complied, she said Walker's group was belligerent. The security guard called for backup from other security guards, and York Regional Police were called, she said. Our priorities is blah, 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 blah. At the time of this event, our guard approached two groups, blah, blah, blah. She referred questions to police. Who cares? Who cares about those rules? Because that's not what we're here to talk about today. We can talk about how stupid the rules are. Were they supposed to have their mask on when eating in the food court? Were they supposed to not? Were they really, really mean? Imagine if you set up a security guard company and the name of your company was Sensitive Security Guards. We have the most emotionally available security guards in the business. They really emote and they are very empathetic. So please don't say things about them like call them Larry, Curly, and Moe. And definitely don't use the F word because they haven't heard that word before and they'll be shocked by it and they might cry. So word to the wise, don't set up Sensitive Security Guards, Inc., because you're going to have problems. So what exactly did they do wrong? Well, I'll tell you what they did wrong. They were on private property when they were asked to leave. I think that's the one thing we can agree on. Whether or not they did something in the food court, it's actually not relevant. Let's say they broke the food court rules. He doesn't look like an anti-masker, and neither does his girlfriend. They were both wearing masks when they were being frog marched out of there. If I was being marched out of a place, I would not comply with the mask rule on my way out if it was a mask issue. It obviously wasn't a mask issue. They were actually wearing the masks as they were leaving. There was some other issue. And it actually doesn't matter right now because under the Trespass to Property Act, the owner of a property, and a mall is private property, the public is invited to come in. But once the landlord or his agent says, get out, you do have to comply in a reasonable manner. You don't have to sprint out. You have to leave. And if you don't comply, the landlord does have the power and the right to use reasonable force to eject you. And that's important because I say this. There are circumstances where security guards could literally pick up a guy and throw him out. Those would be if there was danger or violence or anything else that a court would say, yeah, that's reasonable. If someone handcuffed themselves to the food court, no, I'm going to finish my sandwich. It would be reasonable to cut that off and pull him out. But if he was walking with his pregnant wife at a fair clip, he is complying with the Trespass to Property Act, especially since you invited him on there in the first place. He didn't break in the dead of night. He didn't sneak in. He walked in through a door that said, welcome, and it sounds like he spent some money there. So you invite a guy into your private property. You invite him in. He accepts your invitation. He spends money with you. Buys some food in the food court or whatever. You don't like the fact that he's not wearing a mask in the food court, or maybe he's not supposed to eat in the food court or whatever. The rules change every week. So you say, get out. Okay. Maybe you're wrong about that. Maybe you're violating his rights in some way. Let's put that aside. Let's just assume that your eviction of him is legal. And I believe, by the way, that property owners should be able to kick people out. Now, we don't let people get kicked out for illegal reasons like racism. You're black, no blacks allowed, get out, that's illegal. You're in a wheelchair, no disabled people, get out, that's illegal. And that's actually the analog. People who are exempt from wearing masks, there are medical exemptions. You can no more kick someone out of your mall for not wearing a mask if they're medically exempt than you can kick someone out of your mall because they're in a wheelchair. And you can no more demand that they prove you have to be in that wheelchair. I think you can stand up, prove it. No, you can't do that with a wheelchair and you can't do that with a mask. But it sounds like there was just some disagreement over masks in the food court. Put that aside. A man and his pregnant girlfriend were walking out of the mall at a reasonable pace. They acknowledged they knew she was pregnant. So that it was a reasonable pace they were walking in any event. The fact that she was pregnant means it's extra reasonable. The fact that they were walking out with the masks on show they were very, very reasonable. The fact that he was taking a selfie video and calling them the effing Three Stooges, yeah, well, so what? There's no law against swearing. I checked. By what right can they put their hands on him? They can eject someone who is not leaving. They have that right, but he was leaving. So I would argue that was an assault by them against him. But that's not the problem, was it? The problem was, he said, don't put your hands on me, don't put your hands on me. So he didn't punch them or stop walking, did he? He just insisted, don't put your hands on me. And I think he was right, because he was leaving with his pregnant wife at a reasonable clip, walking to the exit. So simply saying, don't put your hands on me, is not a problem. I think the hands being put on him may be a problem. I don't think they were hurting him. I think that he was just insisting on his rights. You can't touch strangers. That's called assault. He says, don't put your hands on me, don't put your hands on me, don't put your hands on me. And then you hear a security guard saying, you're under arrest. And then, bam! They drop him to the floor. Why? Did he do something? No, he didn't. Not that we have any evidence of. You saw the video, the selfie video. Don't put your hands on me, don't put your hands on me, don't put your hands on me. That's not an offense. That's not breaching the Trespass Act. That's not breaching any law at all. There's no law saying you can't tell someone not to put their hands on you. In fact, it's sort of the other way around. So why did they pound him to the floor like that? And I note, did you see him resisting? Did you see him punching? Did you see him punching them back in either this video or the other? Look at that, she's got her mask on. Look at that, boom, 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 boom. There's four of them, they're slamming him, they're slamming him. Do you see him punching them? No, he's not punching them. He's trying to avoid his face being smashed into the floor. Well, they got 4 guys on him now, 3 guys in blue and then the guy in yellow. Without a mask, I should point out. What did he do wrong again? What did he do wrong? Do you see him punching them? I do not. I do not see him punching them. In fact, 2 more times they say, get off me, or don't put your hands on me, and then get off me, get off me, get off me. I was taking notes. And then his girlfriend says, we were leaving. And the security said right there, you were not leaving. You liar, you lying liar. We saw they were leaving. Don't lie on TV. And what was the guy saying? And she said, the exit is right there. Did you hear that part? And all he's doing is saying, get the F off of me. And she says she's pregnant. What do we have here? He says it's racial profiling. I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think you need to reach for race. I mean, the GTA, it's like half visible minority anyways. I don't think they were, like if you're going to single someone out because they're black, you'll be doing a lot of singling out if you're in the GTA, you know what I mean? I don't think that's what the proximate cause was. I don't think that was the provocation. I just don't think so. I mean, I don't know what was said in the food court. I think it's security guards, drunk on power, loving the lockdown, don't know the rules, don't know the law of trespass, don't know the mask laws, don't know the exemptions, a guy who, at least verbally, is standing up for himself, you know, mocking security. It's fun to do. He's mocking security. I've done a tiny bit of that in my day. They don't like being called mall cops for some reason. So he's saying, what was he saying? Don't put your hands on me. He was calling them Larry, Curly, and Moe. I got to tell you, I mean, I've heard my share of insults, and maybe I've even dished out one or two. I'm famously polite. I'm famous for being polite. But if I was thinking of the toughest thing to say to some mall cop, calling them Larry, Curly, and Moe, that's like entry-level meanness, right? I mean, you at least throw in a Paul Blart mall cop joke. You want to hurt them? Say, oh, so you didn't make the police academy, and then there's the guys who don't make the police academy, but they become prison guards, and then there's guys who don't make prison guards, and they become security guards for banks and other high-value places, and then there's the guys who fail at that, and then they become security guards for office towers downtown, and then there's the guys who fail at that, and they become the mall cops in malls like, you know, Eaton Center and Yorkdale, and then there's the guys who can't get those jobs. They're mall cops here in Newmarket. That's you guys. So that's my amateur attempt, just trying it out. If I wanted to insult some mall cops in Newmarket, that's what I would do. Calling them Larry, Curly, and Moe, that's not going to hurt. But pointing out that these guys probably wanted to aim higher in life. Probably wanted to be cops, couldn't do that. They're really bouncers, but without the physical prowess. That's me trying to be really mean to mall cops. This guy was not really mean. Would you agree with me? What do you think my insult was? Like, do you think that's like a 6 out of 10 for meanness? How mean was that? A 6 out of 10? It wasn't that mean. It would hurt their feelings. Yeah, that's right. There's no swearing in there, you'll notice. So this corporal, he swore just for emphatic effect, a slightly menacing adjective. Larry, Curly, and effing Moe, or whatever he said. I'm going to give that, I would give that a 1 out of 10. You threw in the F-bomb, so that's going to accelerate it a bit. I'm going to give his insult a 2 out of 10. What would you give it? Maybe 3, because you enjoyed the Three Stooges. I got to tell you, I don't even think those mall cops know what the Three Stooges is. That's so old. Like that's like, what were they, like 70 years ago or something? Like the 1950s or something? Is that when, or were they even before that? Were they even before the talkies? Like that's like the age of the silent silver screen movies, is that right? I don't know. 1958. So there was barely the talkies then. Active from 92 to 90. So yeah, they were in the silent film era. And then like the Larry, Curly, and Moe, that's just, I just don't feel that's a big insult. Even you throw in the F word. Now I don't know how to contact this guy. He's got what's his last name? Walker, if I'm not mistaken. Joshua Walker, is that his name? And his wife is what, Samantha Johnston or something? Johnson? So, you know what? Get ready to spend a lot of time in the phone book. And who's even in the phone book these days? Try and find those names on Facebook. I mean, good luck. Maybe you're a better sleuth than me. We've got a reporter working on it. My message to them, if they're watching, they're probably not, is you got to sue. Oh my God, you got to sue. Assault, battery, defamation. I'm talking about the mall spokesman. Conspiracy. They're all doing it together. It's a gang. It's a gang. You got to go after them under the Security Guard Act and get their licenses taken away. You got to go after them under the Human Rights Act. They're kicking a pregnant woman out for whatever reason. I don't know. Throw it all in the pot. You slam a man down like that, that's a $500,000 payout. Oh, I hope he sues them. I hope he sues them. And my message to him besides I hope you sue, is if you want a free lawyer, come to us. Lord Thunder and Jesus, I will sue that mall forever. What do you think? Let's go to some super chats. I got so many messages here just from everybody. There's so much going on these days, Justin. Canadian girl, $5. Twilight Zone, imagine a virus so dangerous that you need a test to determine that you have it. Yeah. And of course, the false positives are half or more of them. That's why they talk about cases. Here's another way of looking at it. Is Donald Trump the fittest man in America? Not really. What's he, 74? And he's slightly on the paunchy side. So he recovered in one weekend. Rudy Giuliani, 76, I think, smoked cigars. He recovered in 3 days. Yeah, I'm not too worried. Did we throw the warning on this vid? Timothy Powell, 20 pounds, thanks for being you. Well, Timothy, who else could I possibly be? And if I was someone else, who would be me? J3 Sobieski, $10. Can you elaborate if the Chinese Army already finished the winter training and left to China, or are they still here camped out somewhere in Canadian wilderness? Thank you. If you go to thechinafiles.com, why don't you go there to show people that? That was a huge news last week. I didn't even talk to you about that. Huge news. Did we play the Tucker thing? I think we did last week. Yeah, we did. So if you go to thechinafiles.com, you can see the primary documents for yourself. Can you open it and can you go to the last 2 pages on it? So this is the website, and you can, how we got the secret documents, different revelations. And then you see that, you just scroll down. You don't even have to open it. Just scroll all the way down. And then the last 2 pages, you'll see that's a chart or a list. Oh, a little bit up there. Yeah, maybe do pump up the size if you can. Thank you. Perfect. Yeah, you're way ahead of me. It takes a while to load. So there, the last 2 pages, it's a 34-page document. The easiest pages to read are the first 2. That's the calendar of the Canadian Embassy in Beijing. Very interesting stuff. And then the last 2 pages are a list of all the exchanges between China's People's Liberation Army and the Canadian Armed Forces in the year 2019. There are 18 exchanges. And the one of them for cold weather warfare was canceled. The other 17 proceeded. Now, I don't know if they had any in the year 2020. I'll have to do another access to information request. I think they're going to be a little more careful. Yeah, thank you very much. Can you pump that up just a tiny bit? Thank you. So you see this, this says PLA in Canada. You see that on the left? That says for People's Liberation Army. And it says engagement potentially paused. PLA, People's Liberation Army members participate in winter survival training at Canadian Forces Base Petawawa. 6 to 8 personnel, section level per country, winter 2019. I should let you know, that did not proceed, but an identical one proceeded in 2018. Engagements not yet scheduled or confirmed, and then they have some 1- and 2-star general events. Then they have the Canadian Armed Forces in China. Can you believe it? We were sending our soldiers to China to teach them or to learn, I don't know which. And then here's another page, more PLA in Canada, more CAF in China. What on earth are we doing? And if you add it all up, there are 18 events there. Thanks very much. So the winter warfare happened in Canada at CFB Petawawa in 2018. It was canceled in 2019. As far as we know, the other 17 events proceeded. And we don't know what happened in 2020. Jason Jones, $5. Hello from Kentucky. I wonder what the suicide rates are due to all these lockdowns. Great question, and I know different jurisdictions are hiding that information. They're hiding it. They're not reporting suicide breakdowns because they know that will militate against the lockdowns. I was looking at that over the weekend, and some jurisdictions are saying unknown cause of death, and they have a bunch. I bet they're hiding their suicide numbers in that. I have no proof of that, but all of a sudden they stop reporting suicides? No, I don't buy it. Solid as a b-ball, $5. Moment of the year, Kean sidestepping McKay's bodyguard. Dunk of the year, Ezra Land on top of Trudeau. Who's your favorite athlete, Ezra? Well, you know, a lot of people ask me who my favorite athlete is, and none of them get an answer because I am functionally illiterate in the matter of sports. You cannot be an expert in all things. You can't even survey all things. The world is too large and wonderful. You can't take it all in, even if you were to live forever. Well, only then could you do it. So I have no answer on that, but you make me think about, you talk about your favorite moments. Let me invite you, my friends, to vote right now for the Viewers' Choice Awards. If you go to Viewers' Choice Awards, Viewers' Choice Awards, plural, .ca. Viewers' Choice Awards. We should probably make that plural. Who will win? Look at all those people. Look at those smiling faces. That's me in the middle. Avi Yamini, Kean Bexley, Drea Humphrey, Sheila Gunnery, David Menzies, Raheel Raza, Andrew Chapados, and Tamara Ugolini. Viewers' Choice Awards. Vote for the best rebel journalist. Who do you think is the best rebel news journalist? Tell us in our survey and share it with your friends and family so they can vote too. We'll have an awards ceremony to tell you about, blah, blah, blah. Who do you think? And this list is randomized. People say, oh, what's the order? Every time you call it up, every time a different person votes, it's in different order. I want to let you know that. Who are you going to vote for? Andrew Chapados, David the Menzoy Menzies, Raheel Raza, Drea Humphrey, Tamara Ugolini, Sheila Gunnery, Avi Mini, Kean Bexley. And I should tell you, we are having the awards night this week. So you gots to vote. Voting closes Wednesday. Was it 10 p.m. Eastern? Is that what we said? So, my friends, you have 48 plus 9. You have only 57 hours left to vote. Luckily, voting takes 57 seconds. So you can do it right now. Fraser McBurney, $25. We should go to all political homes on Christmas Day and chant, "You ruin our Christmas, you ruin our Christmas. We're here to ruin your Christmas," for 10 minutes, then on to the next one. It'll take the cops 20 minutes to appear. On that, I'm going to disagree with you. Because the defund police crowd and the police taking a slow time to show up, well, if it's a politician's house, oh my God, the police will be there in seconds. Alex, $5. It is odd seeing lefty people go on TV and complain about 2021 rising food prices due to federal tax policy. It's like, guys, you voted for this. Why the face? Is that what WTF stands for? Yeah, I'm joking around. It's an old joke. It's a dad joke. It's a dad joke. But there, you know, knowing me as one of the most polite men in the country, it's plausible that I don't know what WTF stands for. You've never heard me swear before? Very few people have. The other day I did a swear on the live stream. I don't know if we edited that out afterwards. I think we maybe should. Because I don't want people to get the wrong impression. Our Christmas parties are funded. We have a swear bucket here. And every time, you know this, every time I swear I put $1 in. And there's one really, really bad swear that is $2. And that's how we pay for our Christmas party. I'm actually the only one who swears. And we're definitely not having a Christmas party this year because that would be contrary to the spirit of the lockdown. We're very obedient and we're very polite. Julie A. Smith, Santé, $5. Thank you. C. Villeneuve, $5. Thank you. How can so many people continue to stand by the government's tyrannical lockdowns? Path of Least Resistance. Hey, can you go to Paul Joseph Watson's Twitter feed? There was a experiment. I think it was called the ASCHE, A-S-C-H-E experiment. I hadn't heard about it before. I just saw it on PJW's Twitter feed. It's sort of crazy. Can you find it? And Some people are scared. They'll put on a mask because, oh my God, I got to do something. What do I do? I got to do something. Okay, someone in authority said put on a mask. Put on a mask, people. Put on a mask, people. Fear. Ignorance. What do I do? Follow the rules. At least I'll be safe. Is part of it. Path of least resistance is part of it. But social conformity is the biggest part of it. I had not heard of this experiment until I saw it on PJW's feed. Take a looky-loo at this.
The Ash experiment is one of psychology's oldest and most popular pieces of research. A volunteer is told that he's taking part in a visual perception test. What he doesn't know is that the other participants are actors, and he's the only person taking part in the real test, which is actually about group conformity.
Please begin. The experiment you will be taking part in today involves the perception of line length. Your task will be simply to look at the line here on the left and indicate which of the 3 lines on the right is equal to it in length. So, for example, if you think
The actors have been told to match the wrong lines. The volunteer will be monitored to see if he gives the correct answer or if he goes along with the opinion of the group and gives the wrong answer. In the first test, the correct answer is 2.
1. 1. 1.
Two.
1.
Once again, the correct answer is 2.
3. 3. 3.
3.
3.
The Ash experiment has been repeated many times, and the results have been supported again and again. We will conform to the group. Again, we're very social creatures. We're very much aware of what the people around us think. We want to be liked. We don't want to be seen to rock the boat, so we will go along with the group. Even if we don't believe what people are saying, we'll still go along.
1. 1. 1. 1.
Group dynamics is one of the most powerful forces in human psychology.
1.
Now, I don't know if that was unscripted or scripted there, and I have not looked deeply into this, but I find that absolutely plausible. If someone were to go back in time 12 months and say, we're going to cancel Christmas, shut down restaurants and bars and gyms and yoga studios and all kids' sports, we're going to make you have to wear a mask or a muzzle or an eye patch or a whatever hazmat suit people are doing, whatever the fad is. We're going to borrow $400 billion in Canada. We're going to shut down Parliament in the main. We're going to shut down the courts in the main. You'd say, you are crazy. What are you talking about? We didn't even do that during the Second World War. New York City was not locked down after 9/11. It just wasn't. There was a small zone around the World Trade Center that was locked down. The world continued after 9/11. The world continued after Pearl Harbor. If you would tell people hey guys, just 2 weeks to flatten the curve, okay? Just shut down schools a little longer, okay? We'll be through this soon. Just shut down okay, this first lockdown didn't work. Try the second lockdown. That didn't work. Okay, try the third lockdown. That didn't work. How is it? Do you know anyone who has died from this virus? Don't say yes if you heard of someone. I mean, do you know someone? Can you go to the Alberta COVID stats? Now, if you have locked your 90-year-old grandma in a senior's home, and if she has 3 or more serious comorbidities, go to the comorbidities. See, look at this. This is the Alberta stats. They're the only people in the country that make it so readily available. Number and percent of health conditions among COVID-19 deaths. Literally 88% had hypertension. Literally 57% had dementia. 54% had cardiovascular disease. 44.5% diabetes. 40% renal disease. So scroll down, and you know what I'm going to look for. It's on the bottom left. The number of people, yeah, perfect. Do you see it there? The number of deaths with people 3 or more conditions is 77.3%. 3 or more. Average age is 83, if I'm not mistaken. The number of people in the province of Alberta who have died without any of those underlying conditions, it's 12. 12. Now, I'm not here to say that any death is a good death. I'm not here to say that 12 deaths is good, and I'm certainly not here to say that 488 deaths, the vast majority with people with 3 serious conditions. This isn't like being fat. You notice being fat is not one of them. Diabetes, heart disease, heart attack, dementia, these are serious things. Stroke, liver disease. 3 or more, the average. So my point is, if you tell me, and these are the Alberta numbers, you tell me you know someone who's died from this virus, I'd say, really, who? Oh, my friend's friend. No. I said, do you know somebody? Do you? Because what we saw there, and again, I'm not diminishing the value of the lives of people who died in their 80s or 90s who had 3 pre-existing conditions. I'm not, in fact, I'm saying the opposite. I'm saying, oh my God, why don't you protect them and let the rest of the province live a life, if only literally 12 people in a province of more than 4 million died, and the average age, I tell you, is older than the life expectancy. And by the way, I noticed, did you see my tweet the other day about Saskatchewan? So Saskatchewan, in March 21st if memory serves, all of a sudden decided they're going to stop reporting the number of flu deaths. Really? That seems like a strange time to do that. I wonder if the flu deaths that were being tracked, apparently, historically, and then they chose to stop. I think I tweeted that. So they're not tracking flu deaths anymore. Here we go. I wonder why Saskatchewan abruptly stopped counting cases of the flu on March 21st. I'm sure it's nothing. And then click on that link. You'll see it takes you to the government of Saskatchewan. Influenza reports, and then Saskatchewan Weekly Influenza Surveillance Report, week ending March 21, final 2019-2020 report. That's it. They just stopped. And you can see that they had 2,547 cases, and they had some deaths, and I'm not happy that anyone died, but my point is people die of this or they die of that. People in their 80s and 90s die, and people in their hundreds. There are people over 100 years old who have died. And I have to say that when you're over 100, every day is precious because you don't have too many more of them. One of my grandmas lived to 101, and that's amazing. And she had her wits about her till the end, which was even more amazing. But something's going to get you. You're 101. May you live to be 102. You're 102. God willing, you'll live to be 103. You're probably not going to live to 120. I'm sorry to say that. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just saying the obvious. And we are rebranding every death over age 80. There used to be saying he died of old age. Well, I suppose body just stops, but usually there's something that is proximate. As you can see here, the virus, well, it's with 3, 4, 5 other comorbidities. Let's get the rest of the Super Chats done. Kevin Tennant, $5. Please watch Prohibition by Ken Burns. So many parallels, like those rent-a-cops, bylaw officers were giving themselves too much lawful power. Hey, that's not a bad idea. Ken Burns is an excellent documentary filmmaker if he's the guy I'm thinking of. Alex David Duke, $5. Pfizer COVID-2 vaccine is a joke. The data does not demonstrate that it prevents death in the vulnerable population, only tested with the healthy. Well, how can you rush the testing? How can you rush the testing? Should pregnant moms take it? Should children take it? Should people with a lot of weakness, should people with 3 comorbidities take it? If someone is 85 years old, should they take it? And if they're healthy? If someone's 85 and healthy, should you really inject them with a vaccine made from the virus? And how do you feel about this thing being tested for like a few months? Feel good about that? For a virus with a 99.9% recovery rate? You think the vaccine is a higher or lower risk factor than the actual virus? Alex, again, $5. Give a radical new mRNA vaccine to healthy people for whom a COVID is a mild cold. Should be given to children. Well, has there been a single death? I think there's been one death from people under 20 in Canada, and they had underlying comorbidities. I don't even know. I think they're clamping down on the stats everywhere. Christine Burns, $10, thank you. Doris Young, $5, keep it up. Will do, Doris. Alex, again, thank you. $5, Pfizer vaccine should not be given to children ever. Yeah, imagine saying, yeah, I'll have my child being a guinea pig for a disease that 1 in 10, if indeed one person under age 20 has died from it in Canada. There are 10 million people in that age cohort. It's a 1 in 10 million chance of dying from the disease. Do you really think this rushed vaccine has a lower risk factor than that? Bill Gates himself talked about, what did he talk about? 1 in 10,000, is that what he said? Yeah, he said 700,000. He said there could be 700,000 cases of serious side effects. So that's 1 in 10,000 people. So if your risk from the virus is 1 in 10 million, and if you have a super vaccine that's 1 in 10,000 risk, which would you rather do, statistically speaking? Christina Sir, $10, thank you. Christina Burns, another $5, thank you. Julie A. Smith-Sante, $5, thanks. Salmon and Thai, $21, thank you. Great Derman, $7. Is Doc Tam a Tran? I see Adam's apple. I've seen a lot of gossip to that effect. If true, that would be interesting, but that is not the source of my objection to her, if that were true. I think, and this is what I say to people when it comes to speculation, conspiracy theories, etc. I say, you don't need a conspiracy theory about her being trans. I've seen that conspiracy theory. It's mildly interesting. But is that the problem with her? Or is the problem with her that her advice has been atrocious? She's called people worried about the virus racist. She refused to lock down flights from Wuhan. She's flip-flopped on everything. And my main objection to her is that for the longest time she worked for the World Health Organization. She didn't, how can you work for the World Health Organization and for Canada? That's a conflict of interest. So if she's trans, that is interesting. But that's unproven, that's an allegation. It's a personal allegation. I think it's irrelevant to the facts at hand. And I say that the most atrocious facts in the world are lying right out there. You don't need to make something up. Julia Smith-Sante, another $5, thank you very much. Christina Pavlovska, $7, thank you, Ezra, great job. We love Rebel Media. Well, that's nice you to say. You should vote then in viewerschoiceawards.ca. Ginger Marshall, $20. Organizer David from Kelowna Rally sat where there was around 2,000 people, received his first fine of $2,300 from the RCMP. They actually helped us and locked streets down, plus been doing Saturday for months. He's taking it to court. You know, I think we're trying to reach out to him to give him legal help under fightthefines.com. Aaron Grimm, $5. I went to Costco in Langley, BC with Masks Are Useless, mask from Rebel News. It was hilarious. No one mentioned it, but they all saw it. That is funny, and I'm glad you did. CJ Wardill, $2. Thanks for showing video. I pinned an updated one. Okay. Julie A. Smith-Sante, stay strong, Canada. America loves you. Don't take the vaccine. Thank you. Flat Earth Data, $7. The government is turning us into criminals. Bill C-6 turns parents into criminals. Mask mandates turns people into criminals. How do you stop it? Number one thing is just to not be silent. Like that Ash experiment that we showed from PJW's account. How about just say this is madness? Like he sort of, you could see the guy, that might have been a scripted actor, but he said no. But then he complied. The number one thing is say no. I see that the lines are not the same length. You're wrong. You know, I think it was Einstein, or was it Freud? It was Freud, who said, and Freud was not right on everything, maybe not even on most things. He said, even if the whole world tells you you're wrong, you can still be right. I'm sure other people have said it more eloquently than that. I'm only paraphrasing his quote. You have to have the ability to say, even though the whole world tells me I'm wrong, I know I'm right. But isn't that the hardest thing in the world? Can you call up Peter Thiel's job interview question? Just Google that, it comes up. And I'll get back to that in a moment and you'll see the connection. Peter Van Noort, €5, Holland here. We're going in lockdown again at midnight. 98 people under 70 without underlying conditions died so far in this country. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So it's just Peter Thiel, Thiel, job interview question. So I'm talking about how you fight back. And yeah, Peter Thiel, one of the smartest guys around, inventor of PayPal, first outside investor in Facebook, Palantir, he's in so many amazing things. Whenever Peter Thiel interviews someone, he likes to ask the following question. What important truth do very few people agree with you on? And then let me read the next paragraph. I'm not sure where this is from, but it looks legit. This question sounds easy because it's straightforward. Actually, it's very hard to answer. It's intellectually difficult because the knowledge that everyone is taught in school is by definition agreed upon. And it's psychologically difficult because anyone trying to answer must say something she knows to be unpopular. Brilliant thinking is rare, but courage is even shorter supply than genius. The most common answers, according to Thiel, are our educational system is broken and urgently needs to be fixed. America is exceptional. There is no God. These are bad answers. The first and second statements might be true, but many people already agree with them. The third statement simply takes one side in a familiar debate. A good answer takes the following form. Most people believe in X, but the truth is the opposite of X. What does this contrarian question have to do with the future? In the most minimal sense, the future is simply the set of all moments yet to come. We hope for progress when we think about the future. To Thiel, that progress takes place in two ways. I haven't read this before. Horizontal or extensive progress means copying things that work, going from 1 to n. Horizontal progress is easy to imagine because we already know what it looks like. So that's a slightly improved gadget, slightly improved this. Vertical or intensive progress means doing new things, going from 0 to 1. Vertical progress is harder to imagine because it requires doing something nobody else has ever done. If you take one typewriter and build 100, you've made a horizontal progress. If you have a typewriter and build a word processor, you have made vertical progress. Isn't that interesting? Isn't that? I won't read anymore. What's the link on that? Maybe put that link in the super chat if you don't mind. Very, very interesting. And to our viewers still with us, you might be saying, Ezra, why are you talking about that? Because it is extremely hard to say, everybody says this, but it's wrong. Because now you're risking it. Like, as Thiel says, it's not, don't take one side of a well-known debate. I'm pro-life, I'm pro-choice, I'm pro-immigration, I'm pro-closed borders. No. Those are debates. What do most people agree on that you don't? Like, give me something out there. That's hard to do. That is a question that we often ask when we hire people here. Not all the time, but often. Because working at the Rebel, the number one trait is, do you have the courage to be a dissident? And that's the thing. Everyone says the line is shorter, but it's not shorter. Do you have the courage to, most people, tell me something most people agree on that's true, that's not true. Most people said that line was shorter, it's not shorter, it's the same length. Do you have the courage to say that? Most people say just wear the mask. Do you have the courage to say, no, I'm not wearing a frickin' diaper on my face, I'm not wearing a muzzle. Do you have the courage to do that? Most people say just go along together. Do you have the courage to say no? You know, where was I the other day? I'm trying to remember. When the restaurant, mask. I walk in. I got the little one with me. I'm ready. Now nothing came. But you know what? Do you have the courage? I'm ready because I know the law, I know the bylaw, I know the exemptions. Or do you just say, oh, I don't want the disagreement, I don't want the conflict, I don't want to be a contrarian? It's not an IQ test. An IQ test tests intelligence. You can be very smart and comply. In fact, maybe that is the smart thing to do, just go along to get along. In fact, maybe the smart thing to do is to be an enforcer. You know, I watched a movie yesterday, and I see there's some super chats. Let's go another 5 minutes. I watched them. I heard that the first COVID movie's out there. Movie made during the COVID about the COVID. And that movie is sort of a near future dystopian. I like those. I like those, like Minority Report, or those movies set just like 5-10 years from now. So all the basics are recognizable. You don't have to, you know, it's not like Star Trek or Star Wars set hundreds of years in the future where you have to make great leaps of imagination. These near future dystopian novels, dystopian works, that's what this was. And the virus was called COVID-23. And I think the year was like 2024. And you had these Q zones, quarantine zones that were like blockaded. And you had vaccine passports. You had immunity bracelets, that's what they were called. And you had health inspectors who had the power to come in, and every day you had to look at your smartphone, and it would do a detection on you, and it detected if you had the virus, and if you caught it, they would send a squad to pick you up. And do you have the trailer to that? I just want to, I see the super chats, I will come back. I just want to show you this movie. Here's the trailer. How long is the trailer?
Good morning, Miss Garcia.
Good morning, sunshine. I miss you. I could kiss you right now.
Yeah, well, someday.
Curfew is now in effect. All unauthorized citizens must stay indoors.
Tensions rise as we enter the 213th week of lockdown.
A grim new reality emerges.
COVID-23 has mutated.
Beginning thermal scan. Thermal scan normal.
A horrifying new development.
New data confirms the virus attacks the brain tissue.
Hey, whoa, 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 whoa! I'm immune! I'm immune!
Worldwide death toll rises to over 110 million.
All infected Americans are being forced into quarantine camps.
Sarah. Sarah, what's going on?
Department of Sanitation.
Sarah, talk to me.
I think my neighbor has a fever.
It'll be so much easier if you just open the door. Mrs. Grant, you have visitors.
Sarah, please. Sarah, open that door. Sarah. Sarah, do not open that door.
Beginning thermal scan. 3, 2, 1. Anomaly detected. Armed guards will be arriving in 4 to 6 hours. You must not attempt to leave your home, or you will be shot on sight.
This is my message to you. I know you're in there.
They're coming. I have to let you go.
No. Sarah! Sarah!
Say goodbye to me.
Sarah, I'm not letting you give up.
This is my message to you.
Sometimes we have to do things we don't want to survive.
I'm trying to save the one person left in my life that matters to me.
I can't help you. What you're talking about is illegal.
Nico.
I'm here.
Every little thing's gonna be alright.
Songbird. I rented it yesterday. I watched the whole thing. I'll tell you why I rented it. Because I saw all these liberal Hollywood movie critics saying, oh, don't watch it, it's in bad taste. Oh, you're... So the Hollywood they couldn't pump out more anti-war in Iraq, anti-American, anti-military movies. When George W. Bush was president, you can disagree with that war. But these were anti-military. These were movies that portrayed the United States as the evil terrorists. Hollywood couldn't pump those out fast enough. Hollywood can't pump out enough pro-Beijing propaganda these days. Oh, but oh my God, you can't. Yeah, Roger Ebert. Too soon. It's too soon. No, it's not too soon, actually. It's not a great movie. Oh, this is a film that arguably shouldn't exist. As legitimate concerns rise about people refusing to take the vaccine that could save us from the nightmare that is 2020, Mason and producer Michael Bay take the national anxiety around COVID-19 and warp it into allegedly escapist filmmaking. I'm not big on the too soon argument or criticism, but there's something undeniably off about a movie that uses COVID as a device on a day when more people will die from the disease than on 9/11. So they're upset that they're doing a movie about the thing, because of course, we just have to live it. We can't talk about it. Now, here's why I like this movie. It's not a great story. It did feel rushed, frankly. The fact that this movie's out now tells me that it, you know, if you're backdating, they did it pretty quick. So they must have really got into this May, June kind of thing, I'm guessing. Before we knew really what was cooking. What did they say in that trailer, that 100 million people had died globally from the virus? So that's 100 million out of 7 billion. So that's 1 out of 70 people. That's a lot. But that's sort of comparable to the Spanish flu of 100 years ago. But the world's population is what, quadruple? The entire world was not shut down from the Spanish flu. So the one thing that I disagree, like, it's not a great movie. There's some nice scenes there. When the health inspector shook the other immune guy's hand and said, I like to, you know, because yeah, I miss handshaking. It's a human thing to do. The glee of the health inspector, the sanitation guy, who was his glee in hunting down people. Absolutely true. I showed you the glee of those security guards at that Newmarket Mall. Oh, it's not even fiction, is it? In fact, they were more violent in that video from Newmarket Mall than they were in this video, almost. One of the big plot lines, I'm not giving anything away, is got to get these immunity bracelets, got to prove that we're immune, got to get fake documents. I need fake ID showing I'm immune. You don't think that's going to be an issue? If you have vaccine passports to fly, to get on a train, to go into a mall, to get on a subway, to get a job, you don't think there's going to be a demand for counterfeit fakes? And another interesting, one of my favorite things in this movie is how the working class is quarantined, but the fancy pants, you saw Demi Moore in there, her and her husband, who was some actor who played in The West Wing, I can't remember his name. The rich people were trafficking, they were rich because they were selling these immunity bracelets for like 150 grand each. And the poor bike courier who was immune was getting paid in tips to run around, basically DoorDash. So I'm not going to say it's a great movie, but I love that it's out there. And the fact that all these snobby liberal critics hate it tells you something, doesn't it? My one beef with the movie is it was built on the premise that this disease is going to kill you, especially young people, and it's going to kill you in 48 hours. That's why they call it COVID-23. It was a mutation. COVID-19 does not kill you in 48 hours, especially if you're a young, healthy person. I suppose theoretically, if you've got 4 or 5 comorbidities and are about to be tipped over the edge, it could. But again, I'm not here to criticize the factual accuracy of a fictional movie set in the near future with COVID-23. The reaction to the movie tells you what you need to know. I liked watching it. I liked watching it despite its flaws. All right, it's 1:14. I'm going to whip through the rest of the Super Chats and we're going to say goodbye. Olga Jenny, $2. I heard all of Germany is being put under lockdown. Wouldn't surprise me. They have experience with that. Sonia Ally, $50. Well, that's incredible. Thank you. Keep up the good work of exposing the corruption. God is watching and seeing the great warriors on the front lines. Well, I'm trying to be the guy who doesn't say, oh yeah, that line's shorter than that line. I'm trying to be the guy who doesn't do the Ash experiment the way that the conformists would. InfMDA. Hi Ezra, what's your best guess with regard to the Liberal plan to tax steal the savings of middle low income families? Oh, my best guess isn't even good enough. Take my best guess and then do it to the power of 10. They want all the money. They want everything. It's not even the money. They want the power. Videos worth spreading, $5. Thanks for exposing corruption. My pleasure. Julia A. Smith Sante, $5. Fellow Canadians, this has been happening for years. It's not new. They will brainwash you. Love from San Diego. Well, thank you. I mean, San Diego, what a wonderful city. One of my favorite places. Haven't been there in a year. Haven't traveled to America in a year. Or since March. Robert Williamson, $7. Vaccinated against everything there is a vaccine for, Ezra, because I like to travel in the world and I'm fine. I'll get the Pfizer vaccine. All right. Well, thank you for doing that. So you can be the guinea pig, and I'll wait to see how that goes for you. Olga Jenny, $5. That movie is a perfect example of preemptive programming. I was watching this movie, and there were things. I mean, I watched it mainly because all the liberal critics said it's outrageous that they're taking advantage. So I knew there was some subtle message in there that the lockdown establishment didn't like. Rainy Steps, $4. I can't believe all the people in on this. Well, why not? If you rob Peter to pay Paul, you can count on the support of Peter. Benny B, the dog, Beau Soleil, $20. Did you hear that in Aylmer area, they took some kids out of class and forced them to be tested for COVID-19 and sent them home, East Elgin Collegiate? I absolutely believe it. We have a trouble getting people in that area, old order Mennonites, to come on camera. We sent Key and Bexley down there, and they just won't come on camera. They're so pacific, so pacifist. Almost done. Alex David Duke, $5. When the vaccines harm more healthy than ill, Fauci will blame Trump. Of course he will. I think that's the last of it, am I right? It's 1:16. Can I close by inviting you? Can we show it one more time? ViewersChoiceAwards.ca. ViewersChoiceAwards.ca. You got to vote for your favorite rebel journalist. Avi Yamini, Keegan Bexley, Drea Humphrey, Sheila Gunn Reid, David Menzies, Raheel Raza, Andrew Chapados, Tamara Ugolini. I'm not in the poll because that's no fun if the boss wins. Polling closes Wednesday at 10 p.m. It's very quick to vote. It's very quick. All right, that's it. Do we have a dog video today? We do. Curated by Justin. Until next time, on behalf of all of us here at Rebel World Headquarters, see you at home. Good night. And keep fighting for freedom. Here's some dogs.